This 300 horsepower Ateca could just be the best car that Seat has ever built. You might therefore think it's odd that the Spanish car maker has chosen not to call it the Seat at all. Instead, it is called the Cupra Ateca and is the first of what will become a range of standalone Cupra models. Of course, it's all pure marketing, designed to add a sheen of desirability that you perhaps might not get with a plain old Seat badge. What's therefore odd is that the design of the badge itself, and indeed all of the styling upgrades applied to this Ateca, seem like a bit of an afterthought. Perhaps it's just me getting old, but I can't help thinking this whole thing just looks a little bit juvenile. The interior is thankfully more restrained. Okay, you still get this Cupra badge here on this slightly dubious carbon fibre effect background, but other details like the Alcantara sports seats and contrasting stitching help to elevate this above normal SUVs without making it too garish. Better still, everything you see here comes as standard, including a touchscreen with Apple CarPlay, Android Auto and an excellent sat-nav system, plus the configurable digital dials. Needless to say, you still get all of the things that make the standard Ateca such a good car, like the clean design, the solid build quality, the good all-round visibility and the roomy rear seats. And although you lose a tiny bit of boot space to make way for the Cupra's four-wheel drive system, this is still a very practical and sensible car. Plus, it will do more than 35 miles per gallon on a motorway run. Underneath, of course, it's a rabid, fire-breathing animal, or at least it can be. For that, you can thank the inclusion of the hardware from the Volkswagen Golf R. So that's a 2-litre turbocharged 4-cylinder petrol engine with 300 horsepower and 295 pound-foot of torque, plus a 7-speed dual-clutch automatic gearbox and a variable 4-wheel drive system. It's a deeply impressive setup in the Golf R, and it's almost every bit as good in here. Admittedly, the Ateca is a bigger, heavier car, but it is still rapid, covering 0 to 62 miles per hour in just 5.2 seconds and pulling all the way to 153 miles per hour. This is no one-trick pony either, where it's very quick in a straight line and then falls to pieces around the corners. Because actually, when you do start to push the Cupra Ateca, it responds well. It's good body control, the car stays nice and flat when you corner, it turns in quickly, and when you do get the tyres loaded up, there is some adjustability. It's genuinely a very enjoyable car to drive. It's a supremely competent daily driver too, with effortless pickup from low revs and a compliant ride. The inclusion of adaptive dampers as standard certainly helps here, but it's also the way in which the Cupra has been set up. For example, even in its firmest suspension setup, this thing still flows nicely over a typical British B-road. Similarly, the exhaust is never stupidly loud or the steering unnaturally heavy. What we have here then is a very well sorted high-performance car that just happens to have the ride height of an SUV. And while there's definitely a school of thought that says the smaller, lighter Golf R makes better use of the same hardware, it's kind of a moot point, because this car hasn't been built as a rival to the Golf R or any hot hatch for that matter. Indeed, its positioning is actually rather unique in that it is a roomy and practical sub £40,000 SUV with very high levels of performance. Okay, the branding might be questionable and the styling not to all taste, but in pretty much every other regard, this is a really impressive car. It's going to be interesting to see what Cupra does next. If you've enjoyed this review, please do give us a like, as well as subscribing to the Cargurus UK YouTube channel. And if you're in the market for a car, don't forget that you can easily find great deals from top-rated dealers by heading to cargurus.co.uk.